just bending the rules. Oh, we're breaking them. Because for the 4th of July episode, the Independence Day episode, we're getting political. Because 4th of July is all about America. So I figured if there was any time to talk about it, this would be the one. So we're going to get political up in here. As much as I hate that, and you know if you watched episode 1, I said I wasn't going to get political ever. And I'm going to say this right now. If I have a guest on here and we start talking some politics, because I got some friends that are a lot more political than others, sure, we can have a political discussion. But for myself, I'm not the most informed person. So I'm not the right person to talk about this stuff. And that's why I try my best to avoid it. However, I do have some critical points that I would like to share. Hopefully, they will influence you to look at the political spectrum a little bit differently. Which is it's a hard thing to even comprehend, I know. Because we're all just so wrapped up in our political ideals, which is stupid. I'll tell you that right now. All of you out there, if you're listening and you're one of those people who is so just like your political opinions and your political views are what define you, change. Because that is ridiculous. Be a person. Don't be a political party. Okay? So, first off, my initial thoughts on politics, okay? Here they go. Unfortunately, there are fairly important and, let's say, that unfortunately we have to live with them, okay? Unfortunately, that's just how it is. As much as I hate them, they do dictate a lot of our lives, and they do have an impact on what happens with us. But overall, now, here's the point I want to make. Here's the thing I want to say that hopefully will resonate with you and perhaps give you some perspective and something to think about. Now, personally, I identify myself as an independent. That's not how it always was, okay? Growing up, my grandma and most of pretty much a high majority of my family were Democrats, or are Democrats. Also, coming out of high school, of course, most people coming out of high school or into the college phase are typically liberal and Democrat. And then the Democrats decided to become the party of nonsense and foolishness. So I decided that wasn't for me. I remember a time legitimately thinking that the Democratic Party stood for something and was like something that I could be proud to say that's something I was a part of at a certain time. And then they became the party of craziness, of absolute lunacy. So that drove me more to the other side. Not necessarily to the right, but I've just decided I'm so much of a middle ground person in the political spectrum. I'm about as middle as you could possibly get, because there are things on the left that I agree with, and there are things on the right that I agree with. There's things on the left that I disagree with, and there are things on the right that I disagree with. Now, here's what I want to say. I think that everyone should identify themselves as an independent. And I will tell you why. Okay? First of all, the biggest problem that this country faces is the fact that we're always clashing. The biggest division in this country comes from the political spectrum. Okay? And it's because you're either Democrat or Republican. And if you're one of those, you cannot agree with the other one. It is just forbidden. We cannot see eye to eye. And you're stuck in this team mentality where we're on one team or the other. Okay? You need to realize, all of us need to realize, we are on one team. We are Team America. America! Fuck yeah! Right? Team America. We all have to live here together, okay? And in order to do that, of course, we don't all see eye to eye. We don't all have the same ideals. But we have to compromise. And we have to come to agreements, whether we like them or not. Find solid ground. Find a middle ground in so many arenas. But we're not willing to do that. Because you're either on one team or the other. It's like in sports. If you ask me to become a Raiders fan, oh, absolutely not. I'm not, no. I would never. But this isn't sports, okay? This is life. This is decisions and policies that affect our real life. So, don't be on a team, okay? Be on the independent team. Now, here's my thought, okay? And let me, first of all, here's one thing I want to point out, okay? I truly believe the majority of us, the majority of the people are more middle right or middle left. They're closer to the middle spectrum anyway. Everything you see in the news and everything that's like plastered all over social media, those are radical lefts and radical rights. It's always the farthest spectrum, and it's always the crazy ones that get the headlines. So, I believe, and I think everybody should understand, that the majority of people are more toward the middle. Now, they lean toward one side. Sure. And perhaps I am more lean toward one side. Personally, I find myself to be very much in the middle. I have a lot of friends that are Democrats, and I have a lot of friends that are Republicans. And that's okay. And guess what? I can be civil with all of them. I can have a conversation with all of them without killing each other. Isn't it great? Isn't that the kind of world that we should probably live in? Yeah, I think so. Now, here is another reason I think we should all identify ourselves as independents. Now, an independent, to me, what I think of when I think of being an independent is just that. I'm independent. I have my own views. I decide for myself. I see the world as it is, and I see, I take in the information that's given to me, and I make my own decisions. I don't let a party decide for me. Now, for so many people who identify themselves as one or the other, let's just say a Republican, okay? Let's say you're a Republican, okay? You identify yourself as a Republican. You're pro-gun, you're anti-abortion, you're Christian or whatever, and you have so many boxes checked in the arena of Republican. But let's just say you do believe in climate change. You believe in global warming. Well, so many people that are associated with one team or the other decide, like they're pressured into having to check every box that makes you that party. So therefore, they feel obligated and pressured into subscribing to all that. So then they just start disbelieving in global warming. Same on the other spectrum. Let's say you have a Democrat who believes in all, a lot of democratic ideals, but they're pro-gun, which there are plenty of those Democrats. However, so many of them are pressured into believing and being forced to feel like they have to be anti-gun, because if you're not with us, you're against us. That's the team mentality. However, as an independent, I can fully believe that we have the right to bear arms. I decided that because I made my own decision. I didn't have a party decide that for me. I also decided that a woman has the right to choose. I have ideas on both sides. My God. I have spiritual beliefs. However, I also believe in science. As an independent, you immediately get the freedom to choose what you believe in. You're not forced into, because there's all these, the stereotypes of being a Democrat or Republican. And so therefore you have to check all those boxes. You're automatically roped into those ideals, which is foolish. Now, the other thing that I think is very important, probably the most important thing when it comes to identifying yourself as an independent. You immediately, you are more likely to assess and evaluate candidates based on true policies, and you're going to identify the right people as candidates. You're not just going to say, oh, they're a Democrat, I guess I'm voting for them. Oh, he's a Republican, I guess I'm voting for him, because that's what I am. I can sit here and say, I can point out the flaws in a candidate or a president, but I can also be like, look, I can be rational in certain things. I don't have to just be like immediately like everything they do is bad or everything they do is amazing. You can actually sit there like, okay, so I'm an independent, right? I think there are candidates on both sides that are very good candidates. I can say that because I evaluate them based on their credentials, based on the type of person they are, based on what they bring to the table and their policies, their actual policies. Isn't that crazy that there are some of us out here that still listen to political policy and not just, oh, they slept with this person, or they did this when they were 14, or they, all their past scandals, or they're a racist, or they're a sexist, or they're a xenophobe. Policies. Those also count, believe it or not. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the other stuff is trivial, but that's just what we always seem to focus on anymore. Okay. Those are my bullet points as to why you should be an independent. Now, let's talk about how completely fucked off the other two parties are. That's your final reason. The final reason that you need to be an independent and like I said, even if you lean more toward one side, the right or the left, whether you lean towards one, just call yourself an independent, because you are more likely to have the freedom to subscribe to whatever ideals and policies you want, that you in your heart want, not what your party and your team decides that you get to, that the ideals that they decide that you're a part of. Also, like I said, you can evaluate candidates based on their credentials and based on their policies, both on the right and the left. Like I said, there's people on both sides that I really like, and there's people on both sides that I really don't like. So unlike, okay, being one way or the other, and there's somebody in the party who's bad, but you have to defend them because they're part of your team. No, you don't have that as an independent. You get to choose. Now, let's talk about, again, how fucked off both parties have become. Because, that's, like I said, that's your last thing. to be an independent because both parties are completely fucked off. So, and as I said before, I used to consider myself a Democrat. And then they turned crazy. Let me just say this, okay? And actually, first of all, if you need any verification that both parties are completely in the toilet and just gone and done, look at who you have running for president. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. These are the people we have decided are the two best options to run our country. Two complete imbeciles. Two complete fuck-offs. That's who we've decided. There are 350 million people in this country, yet we've decided that those are the two best among us. The embodiment. Those two are the embodiment of the political downfall. That is the Republicans and the Democrats. Let me just say this to some of these to the left wingers out there. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to go both ways on this. But we're going to start on the left. You're going to tell me that you're going to cancel my guy, Chris D'Elia, for allegations of sexual grooming and the targeting of underage girls, which, by the way, has yet to be proven. And all the evidence shows otherwise. But, nonetheless, you're going to crucify him and label him as guilty. It's already happened. That's what the left media and the left and all of the Hollywood fuckers decided already. Yet, you're going to make Joe Biden your nominee. The hair-sniffing, finger-sucking, sexual allegation-having candidate. That's who you want as your candidate. And on the other side, you have the pussy grabber. That's our president. The left, I honestly cannot begin to just speak upon what a toilet show the left has become. And honestly, I'm gonna say it, I seriously enjoy ragging on the left way more, only because they are so self-righteous. And I'm not talking about the moderate left, okay? Moderate left are fairly rational people, just like moderate rights. I'm talking the extreme spectrums on both sides, which is the ones that everybody talks about, and everybody just assumes when you say Democrat that they're the far left Democrats. Or the far right Republicans when you say Republican. Most of us are moderate. I am the middle. And I think we should all do that. Back to what I was saying. I love watching the left crash and burn because they are all just so self-righteous. And it is just so... when they crash and burn. And I cannot... I just, like I said, I can't say enough about how fucked off they've become. And I used to be a part of it. And then you have the right, who freak out when a couple of football players kneel as a protest, as a peaceful protest, and then you have this eruption of crazy, like everyone just loses their fucking minds because a couple of guys knelt as a peaceful protest to something that came full circle, and they all ended up having egg on their faces now. It's just one big dog and pony show. It's all about what's hot, you know? Here's the thing, okay? We've come to the point now where these are the political issues. We can make a virus a political issue somehow. We can make race a political issue. When really, the majority of people completely understand that racism is bad. But it's just, we've immediately decided that the Republicans are the racist party and the left are not. Even though I believe the left is way more racist. In so many ways. We'll get in, like, I'm not even going to get into that. But, yes, you're right. There are racist people. But the majority of this nation, I truly believe, understands that racism is bad. But we've decided that racism, sexism, religion, and a virus are political issues. Are you fucking kidding me? Remember when foreign policy used to be a political issue? Oh, that's way down the list now. All these social issues are that. They're social issues. They should not be contributed or identified with a political party. Come on, man. And okay, if you're one of these, if you're on either side of the spectrum, if you're either a right or a left, and everything that comes out of your mouth hole is something that you saw or read or from a news article or a news channel, a news station, go fuck yourself. If you're a media puppet political person, go fuck yourself. Because let me tell you now, the media are the biggest liars of them all. You know why? Because they're just going to tell you what they want you to believe. Either side, the right or the left. They're not going to tell you the full story. They're going to tell you the parts of the story that side with their ideals. And therefore, you fall right into those ideals. And those are the ones, and you're just a puppet to their talking points. And then you go out there and you reiterate those things without even knowing what you're saying. So if you're one of those people who gets all their information from Fox News or MSNBC or CNN, you are a cuck. And you can believe that. If all of your information comes from the Washington Post or PragerU, you are a cuck. Especially if you don't even know what you're talking about. If you're just reiterating the things you've heard on political news, get the fuck out of my face. Turn around and go fuck yourself. Because you are the exact thing that I'm trying to tell you to not to be. You're just a puppet to the political party. You're just a mouthpiece. Spreading all these things that you don't even... You're not making rational decisions for yourself. You're not actually thinking about the policies and what's happening. You're just being told and you're just running with it. Don't be that person. If you're that person, change. And if you're not that person, congratulations. You're smarter than some others. Me personally, I don't watch the news. Because guess what? If it's important enough, I'm going to hear about it. And I always do. And you know what not watching the news has done for me? It has made me so much happier. Because the news is just riddled with hate and violence and negativity and propaganda. That goes for social media as well. If you're somebody who gets all your information from just people on social media, you're an idiot. Be your own person. Be an individual. Be independent to the others. Be an independent person. Don't be on a team. Okay? Because guess what? It's Independence Day, not Team Day. Also, do you think any of these politicians give a fuck about you? No. Do you think any of these media rats give a fuck about you? No. All they care about is money. They don't see red or blue. They see green. So just remember that. The next time you think somebody is going to be your president and save the world and save you, they don't give a fuck about you. The only people who can make your life better is you. Remember that shit. Okay? I could literally just keep on going on. And oh my God, I went on a rant there. Holy shit. Woo! I could this is why I don't talk about this shit. And I don't know everything. Of course not. And yes, politics are important to life. But how about we be really political and not social about our politics? Make up your own mind, okay? That's all I'm saying. Think about that. I can't just keep repeating myself, okay? Just think about what I said. If I know I said a lot there, if you need to go back and re-listen to it, please do. And I really hope that you tell somebody to listen to it and you share the message, because that's what I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about that. And I'm not gonna talk about it anymore because I fucking hate politics, okay?